Boyechko is here, right there in New Jersey. We're gonna have to invite him to New York on May 15th. The CEO of Hope for Ukraine. Yuri, welcome to Office Hours.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. My grandparents are from the Ukraine, and the incidences and the positioning in the Ukraine today is perplexing at the very least, but also confusing in the respect of so many different stories and perspectives, political, religious, spiritual, philosophical, theoretical perspectives that I think confuse some of the more, as I would say, human aspects of humanity itself and the state of humanity. And I know Rand had talked about this understanding. Can you give me your perspective as you are instilling hope for Ukraine, which to me, hope is when there's no evidence or the evidence is against what we think is going to happen or what might happen, but yet we still believe we can turn this around for protection, promotion, love, and perfection. Where does the hope lie for Ukraine today?
I mean, hope lies in every day and every second the nation of Ukraine and Ukrainian people can survive. And we can instill hope because we've been inspired by the people who fight on this for over 3 years already, right? I mean, I'm inspired by people we serve every day. We have folks who been living without electricity for 2 years, right? And they still want to stay in their home, right? They still want to stay in their land. They still believe in a bright future. And when we bring critical aid to them, they try to share with us a little bit that they have. They're trying to make some sort of coffee for us, bring some kind of sweets. So that's what keeps us moving on, and that's why we want to keep on going to the most difficult parts of Ukraine and keep bringing hope, because in the end of the day, every time we show up there, they know that there is a chance for them and there is some sort of light in the end of the tunnel, because they don't hear back from anyone from outside world, because there's areas in Ukraine where infrastructure completely destroyed. There is no working stores, there is no electricity, no water. So unless they get a voice from outside saying, hey, you're not alone, that's what keeps them alive. That's why us as a Hope for Ukraine, we trying to be that agent of hope and trying to go to the most difficult parts of Ukraine to let those civilians know that they're not alone, and we're going to be there for them as long as we have to be there.
Yuri, I love that Hope for Ukraine, the name in and of itself. And I think that, for almost all of us, we could never even really imagine living our lives at a time of war. It's something you just see on television, but the concept of making that real is something that's very difficult. And whenever there's international crises, the humanitarian side of a lot of organizations show up. But Hope for Ukraine is not just about a war and electricity. Tell us a little bit about the history. How did this get started? And also, I just want to remind you, how can anybody who's watching right now, how can they get involved if they want to support?
Yeah, so we started in 2016. Actually, my background is come from entertainment industry, and but I always been involved in some sort of humanitarian work, right? And I always was puzzled how I can make sure that money I donate myself go to people who actually need it. And that's how I started it. And I said in the beginning, listen, if it's only going to be me, I'll be fine. At least I know this charity is gonna, that $100 will go to the intended recipients. And that's how we started. And then basically, but and then I've transitioned fully to run the nonprofit. But it really brought so much satisfaction and just pleasure in my personal life doing what I'm doing right now that I would not change for anything in this world, And, people can find out more about us going to our website, hfu.org. You have all the information there about work that we're doing. But, in order to really, I tell everyone, if you want to feel good in your life, start practicing acts of kindness each and every day. And that's why that's what we're doing. Like I think our team, nobody gets paid a lot, but everybody's super happy because in the end of the day, we can go back and lay on our pillow and we fall asleep really quick because we know we've done a lot of good, and that's the beautiful feeling.
Yuri, what I would ask is, because one of the things that I know about us as humans is we really do desire to understand, and we desire human connection. And I think with what you're doing, making such a big impact in the world and in Ukraine, it would be really important for the listeners to feel that connection of what you're doing. So is there one story that you could just share of somebody that's been impacted by your organization that really stuck out to you so that people can understand what it is that you guys do?
So during the winter, we doing a lot of firewood delivery, and that story will never leave my mind. We delivered this firewood to this elderly lady in a frontline town, and when our volunteers delivered this truckload of firewood, this older lady comes, she grabs one piece of firewood and start kissing and crying, because that firewood was that hope connection. And that's what would keep her warm, and that would help her prepare food. And that's these stories, that's why I don't know, we do every 2 hours we do updates on our social media about our work in Ukraine, because we do want our followers and our folks who passionate about what we do to know exactly what's going on. And these type of stories, like about this older lady or these kids that we serve that live in the basements that have to hide for most of the day because of constant air raids, that's what really keeps us going, because we have these volunteers. I ask them, why you guys doing what you're doing since you don't get paid nothing? And they say, because our worst fear is to wake up one day and have a Russian soldier stand next to our door, knock on our door, say, hey, you're part of Russia now. And that's what drives them, so that's basically why we gonna stay in this to the end, no matter what the world and what other people think. We cannot give up democracy, we cannot give up freedom, we cannot give up Ukraine, because in the end of the day, there's still 30 plus million people that live there. They have nowhere to go.
Powerful. Thank you.
Greater good, divine direction, and it takes a village, people to support us inside and outside of Ukraine. Been blessed to be around so many of our friends who support Ukraine in a variety of different ways. If you want to support this cause, please reach out directly to Yuri, and it is H as in Harry, F as in Frank, U as in umbrella.org, hfu.org. Hope for Ukraine. Check it out, follow them, and support them. We'll look forward to seeing you in New York. Maybe we can raise some funds there at one of my VIP dinners, Yuri. We would love to be of any service to you. Keep up that great work. Remember, it's not the mistakes that we made, it's the lack of commitment that will cause us to fail. And there's no lack of commitment when it comes to the Ukrainians. We certainly appreciate you, my friend. Please, everyone, let's support hfu.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yuri.
Got it.